Good afternoon, student. For Architecture 113, International Building Code, today we will discuss from section 701 through 705. And if you go with the homework assignment, it is study section number 5. We will focus on fire and smoke protection feature number 1. We have next one in feature number 2, but today we will discuss about number 1 only. So about fire and smoke protection, this is one very important on building code, and any projects when they submit for approval, this one is the one we will focus more if you compare with another one. So that's why I think this one is very important chapter, and I hope that you will read very careful from section 701 through 705. This is International Building Codes, Architecture 113. So first of all, we go with the point of these chapters. You can see that we have many things regard with resistance, rate, material, and after that we will tell about the fire resistance rate. We have learned for interior wall and partition, where we can submit for fire rate. And after that, you also learn for why they call that's 1 hour wall, 2 hour, 3 hour wall, and which one is the material they call that's combustible or non-combustible. So basically, if you read from 701 through 705, you can learn a lot about the type from construction and what is protected by fire protect rate, and you will know why they have different one between exterior wall and interior wall material, especially for the fire. And after that, we learn some kind like what they call that the parapet and why we need to have it. So all of them is covered for section 701 through 705, and this is a very important part in the building code, so I recommend you read at least 2 times for make sure that you're familiar with the fire codes before you start to design. About material, some people they said to you that the material is combustible or non-combustible. That means it's easy to fire or it's protect from the fire. So with the fire resistant, the property for material for their assembly that prevent for retard from the passes from excessive heat, hot gas or flames under condition from the use. So that's why not just the fire, it starts from the heat, and after that from the hot gas or the flames it can be make a big fire. So that's why on of the material and some construction for the wall or the roof or the ceiling or the floor, they concern with material, and after that the type from the construction. So if you see the wall, and before that you can see some kind like the fire side and what happened with the wall right here, and how can we do with this one, how many hours we need to design for that, and which one, this side or the other side, which one is more important than. So if the wall like that and you see some kind they ask you for 1 hour 1 hour fire resistant wall, that means they want you to design one wall, even the fire happen they can stay 1 hour. So if they say 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, something like that, just let you know that duration time for make sure how long the material can stay before it's really fire. So the wall fire test is one important thing in material. They have one special room and they test for material by many different kind from techniques, and they figure out how much the material can protect by the fire, and they give the answer for this one. ASTM stand for Americans from test material. So that's this organization, they have on kind from the test for the fire, the material, which one is what level is on, and which one they will protect from the fire material. Any kind of material on construction they go with that organization. society, they call that architects American Society test material. And the number right here, they let you know that what kind from the material during the test one. And look at this one, you can check on the code for make sure that material can allowable to design for that type from the construction or not. Some example for you can see that this one is the wall test for the furnace. Furnace is the one they can do for the heating in the house. And you look at this, when they open this one, you have the wall test specimen. And after that, they have exhaustive vent, they have the viewing void, the furnace chamber, and on the material case is here. They have the burner port, and this one the size 12, 10 to 50. So we can see that the wide and the high, and after that the depth one. This is the depth one, the high, and this. So basically this one is the units they use a lot in residential. And if you didn't have this one, you need to design another way for this one. But basically this one they need it for is a residential. This one is some kind like the section cut from the wall. You see the stud one, and after that you see the layer from the wall. If they say 2 hours, that means they have 2 layers from 5/8 gypsum board. That's material for fire protection. So if you look at the section like that, the wall thickness is 6 inches with the 2x4 stuck right here. In the center, 2x4 stuck, this is the block, and after that you see 2 layers on the left side, 2 layers on the right side, and they say 2 hour rate. That means they want to tell you that they have 2 layers from the 5/8 inches times 8 gypsum wall ball. Gypsum type X is one of the material they can stay with fire. So that's why this is, you can see that every time when you design 1 hour or 2 hours, you see 5/8 inches type X gypsum board. With the regular wall, you see that's 1/2 inches, but not gypsum board, which is the board, the drywall. So basically this one is one of the section cut. You can see for how many rated from the wall and for resistance rate. So beside of that, we have the charge. They can let you know the time and the material, how long they can stay, the time right here. And this is material. For example, type X from gypsum board, they can stay 25 minutes. If they didn't have anything, 1/2. But if they have 5/8, they can stay like 1 hour. So this one is the time, this is required material. So this is the charge, so you can know what difference between material, how long they can stay, they use for design. And this is one of them. You can see from the furnace for ASTM E136 test, and they have the test for this one. This is the section. So you can see this is the furnace, that the units from the heater, and on of the material outside here is qualified for protection for for the fire. And this is one example for, you can see the unit of ventilation on the furnace. They have the section look like this with on of material they use right here is for high temperature insulation inside, and after that they have the space between that. Everything they design right here is they can protect for the fire in case. And this one example, so you can see that this is the wall, and you see the door and the window. With the window, they need to identify for the name from manufacturer and the test standard, which one they offer for the test and what type from the construction. They also show the fire resistant rate glazing. This is they can stay during the fire happen. And beside of that, you see the wall. They also have the 5 barrier wall. That means the wall with the material, or they have 5/8 inches chipboard for 1 hour fire rate. So this is the special one designed for fire protection. If you see like this, it is the floor right here, and after that you can see the ceiling right here, the second one right here, or the roof one if you have the roof deck, or you have the floor for the second level. And you can see that between them, this one you need to have the fire barrier protect on opening. This because door is one kind from opening, and you see between the ceiling and the roof, or the ceiling with the floor. If you have second floor, this one you can do the floor, but if you have the first floor, this one can be the deck or the roof one. And between the ceiling and the roof one, you need to fire barrier protect on opening. On opening under that, you need to have fire barrier for protecting them. And the minimum is 3 inches high with 3/8 stroke lettering. You need to put this on, and the side for make sure everything qualify for the code. This one is another section cut from, if you have the column, and after that on the top from the column. And this one, they show you the number for each of them. Is in the part they have protection for horizontal, and this is the fire rate for horizontal. If you have the ventilation on the ducts one for the HVAC system, or the ducts from the ventilation, and you have the wall right here closed with that, and the wall should be assembly protection both sides. This inside is the column. So if you have the column on the wall inside and both sides, you need to have the protection from the fire. And if you have the ceiling and the floor and the roof between them, on of the material for horizontal, they need to apply for fire protection material. So from here to here, they say that's fire resistant raised horizontal assembly. Whole of them is belong to this one. You need it. And beside of that, with the wall or the column, vertical, horizontal, right here, but the vertical, and you need to both sides for make sure that they have protection. So by generally on the horizontal, you look at the between ceiling and the roof or the floor, and you can see that's it need to do for fire resistant rate horizontal same. That means on of them right here should be fire resistant rate. And if you have the horizontal, the vertical for the column on the wall, both sides from that one should be protected by the material, like 5A chipboard for this side, or that's the other side. If it's dropped in the one, they call that the fire resistant rate. For example, the roof one right here, and you see this is the line from this is the column, and this is the non-bearing wall, and you can see that the distance maximum they ask you to do is 15 feet from here to here. For make sure that if you have non-bearing wall, you have structural column, and the distance from the other one to the wall right here should be 15 feet minimum. If you do closer, you need to fire resistant rate for that's both of them. This is the chart for you can see minimum distance for projection from 0 to less than 2 unit protection not permit, and after that more than 2 hours. They say this one for feet. So fire separation distance from 2 to 3 feet, and you need 24 inches for protection. If you have more than that, you ask for 24 inches, or you have more. And fire crater, you need 40 inches. So that's why when you increase the distance, and you can increase for protection for the bigger side. So on the roof one, it depends on the construction type. For example, you have type 4A, type 5A, and type 5B construction, and we have conditionally different. For example, this is type 5A construction, and you see the distance, they don't see a lot, they don't need a lot for the eaving. And if you have type B construction, and you need the distance should be 5 separate from the less than 5 feet. If you have less than 5 feet, you need 5 separation between them. That means it closer 5 feet, and you need 4 separate 5 separate wall. That's material for the wall. That's a stereo wall. And how about with the building to the building? For example, we have A and we have B, and we have the line right here between them. A, we have fire resistant and open protection for the wall adjacent to the line. But B, they may be placed to detect the best event of the wall and opening protection. So basically, if you have two buildings close together like this, and you need to separate that, we have two cases. If you have a single building, that's the building in the single. Another one is single. We allow for the area and the type of construction based on the most restrictive requirement for occupancy house. That means depend on the number from the people living in, and we have that's one. B, total floor area maybe not exist that allowable for single building. If you have single building and you need to do like that, sorry. Hello? Okay, sorry. So that's why you have two cases. If you have two buildings close together, it's depend on that. Depend on the area for total area. And the second one depend on occupancy. That means it belongs to this one. You figure out which one allow to do on that for close together. And the case number, the other case you can use for fire resistance to design for both of them, opening protection for the wall, or you have adjacent like this. You need to comply with the code for make sure that which one you need to design for this wall and this wall. So it depends on occupancy on the case, the other case, or depend on the floor area for each of them. So you must check it out for make sure you design for the wall right here. The second one, you need to follow the fire resistance and open. That means which one they open for this side and this side, and we figure out how you can design for fire protection rate. This is another example for you can see the wall section. They have the distance is 10 feet or smaller than that one, and you need the fire resistance rate. If you have larger than 10 and you don't need to do this one, you just do on this side only. So it means it depends on the design from the building. And the lot line, they measure that if it's smaller or equal 10 feet and you need to fire resistance rate. If you do like longer than the distance is larger than 10 feet and you don't need to design for the fire resistance rate on this side, but the other side maybe you need it. So basically depend on many reasons before you start to design, and building codes will show you how to make it different. Okay, this is another chart to let you know for maximum area of exterior wall opening base for the fire separate distance and degree on opening protection. So this is the chart. They let you know that which one you need to do when you design for fire separate distance and when you have allowable area. So you can check with this one for the fire separate distance, and after that what area they allowable you to do that, and you decide for how many opening for protection you need to do on that one, and or sprinkler system or non-sprinkler system, more detail for this one. And this is the example. They can show you the wall. You look at this, they have the many cut in the wall, and after that how can you use for what kind from the wall. And this is 3-story building, so this is the setback, and they need to say like how many you need to do for protection. If they say unlimited, unprotect, open in the first story, that means the first one you don't need to do everything. And unoccupied space set from the street, and this one is the distance. They say that's larger than 30 feet, and this is larger than 30 feet also. So basically if you're very far from the block, and after that 15 in front, and they have unlimited open in the first story exterior wall. That means they didn't need to do everything for the limit for opening in the first level. And that's one, it depends on the building, the structure of the building, the setback around the buildings, and you can maybe or maybe not, you need to limit on design for opening. So you need to check with this one in the planning for before you start to design. Okay, this is the other example for you can see the barrier is not less than 1 hour rate plan for not require. Some case they require, but some they not. And this is one example. They say that between the unprotected opening in the story below, and openings, for example, you say like the door or the window, and they have the approved vertical frame barrier right here. This is the floor, this is the floor, and they have 36 minimum. So you need to do higher, but you cannot do in 36 if you want to approve a vertical plane barrier. And if you do for horizontal, approve from frame area, is you need minimum 30 inches on horizontal for the distance if you want to approve for frame barrier. So basically we have many things more about the fire resistance codes and you know, the smoke detector, for example. And you have the building and you have the exterior wall. This is exterior wall from the building, and after that you have the roof deck right here. That means the top one from the building. However, when you start to create for this one, this is from exterior wall, and it's higher than the roof one, 30 inches minimum, like this. This is exterior wall, but it's, you know, higher than the roof level. And this one, they call that the parapet. And the parapets, they have the function is the first one. They cover for this building in case if they have some kind like the fire or something happen, they can protect from the building. So that's why minimum 30 inches minimum they require. You can do higher. And the second one, beside protect for building, they also protect for another neighbor building, because if something happen in this side, and the parapet can protect from this one before they go, the fire go to another building. So that's why they have function for both in this building, for protect from the fire, and after that they also protect from this building to another one. So this one, the exterior wall and are higher than the top roof, they call that the parapet. This one you usually see a lot in a shopping center or some kind of like business center. They have the flash roof like this, and you can see the parapet on there. Of course they have the structure. This one just very simple, you can see the exterior wall, but if they want to show the structure, they should have the black and white here, show like this, and they have many structure inside here. And the last one, for example, you have the floor with the roof and the ceiling. And you can see this is, they say 1 hour fire resistant rate exterior wall. That means they have 1.58 inches Jeep type 8 Jeep board right in this side, and they call that 1 hour. This is the ceiling, and you can see that solid 2 by, that means 2 by 4, 2 by 6, or 2 by 8, something like that. Framing member or 1 hour resistant protection. That means on off the material right here should be 1 hour fire resistant, or they can do on the ceiling. And this one, they say the minimum 1 hour protection on this one, because this is the awning or the soffit, and this one should be 1 hour protection. So that's why on the wall or the ceiling, or you know, on the roof, they have special material for protect the fire, and depend on your type of construction or you design, and you can figure out in this one for make sure that's what kind of material you need to use it and what hours you need to use for this one. So the group R and U, they say minimum 4 feet, occupancy minimum 10 feet for others. So that means this is the distance from the wall. With this one is the soffit. They say 4 feet for group R and U. Group R is residential, group U is utility, and you can use 4 feet. But if you use for other group, other R and U, you need to do for 5 feet for other. That means from here to other side is 5 feet distance. So few of them in this section, they can show you basically about fire protection rate, and you know, some kind from the smoke detector. So now I just remind you very quick some of the projects I show with you on the topic on Happy Life True Life. I said, okay, you need to design one smoke detector for each of the bedroom in the residential. That's in the code they require. For example, you design 4 bedroom. Each bedroom should be one smoke detector close with the entrance from the bedroom. So now beside of that, on the hallway, close with the door from the bedroom, you get out to the hallway, and the hallway should be have a smoke detector and carbon monoxide in the hallway. So beside of the smoke detector, you need carbon monoxide in the hallway. So if some people, they say, okay, they do remodel and the next room from the bedroom, so they don't care about the smoke detector on the bedroom. But careful, the inspector, when they check with remodel close with the hallway or close with the bedroom, they maybe ask you the smoke detector. You should turn on for make sure it works. If not, and they require you to change for the new one because it is safety. So if some people, they inside from the bedroom and they so tired after work and they sleep and they can, they cannot focus on what happened in outside. And if something happened in the kitchen, for example, and the smoke detector not work and they sleep inside there, it's so, very bad thing happen, right? So that's why smoke detector is protect for people inside from the bedroom. And after that, one more time, I just remind with you that the bedroom, beside of smoke detector, they need the egress window, minimum 1 for each bedroom. Why? Because they need the egress window with the opening. Okay, openable. That means even you use sliding window or something, but they need to open. When they open the window, you need minimum 20 inches wide and 24 inches on the height, so make sure one people can get out in case inside the house gets something problem. So that's why we call that the egress window. And 1 bedroom we need minimum 1 for that one. Okay, I post some kind like the topics 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, for you guys can learn something more about building code and some kind of design. If you need something regard with the building codes, I remind you many important things on there. So beside of the lecture you watching on Happy Life True Life, I suggest that you go with the topics. Right now I have the first topic is ADU. The second topic, I think that's a building occupancy. The third one, I will go with the garage and the converse garage to the room. So that's why all of the topic is very helpful for you. I hope that you will watch all of them for your get some more experience on design and on building code. Okay, thank you for watching and see you next one.